Okay, so welcome everyone to the Portland Drupal user group. And this is our meetup for the second Wednesday of the month. And we also have a lunchtime meeting that happens on the fourth Tuesday. So if this time isn't great, we also have like a 1 o'clock in the afternoon time on the fourth Tuesday. Sometimes, that one's kind of hit and miss a little bit. It's replacing right now our Drupal meetup. So we used to have Drupal on the fourth Tuesday at a local pub, but because of COVID, we're not doing that. We're doing the Drupal lunch instead online. And let's see, what else? You can find out information about the meetups at groups.drupal.org/Portland. And we're also on meetup.com, the Portland Drupal user group. So information is posted about upcoming meetups on those two outlets. Today we have a special guest, Emily Nouveau, and she's going to give us an update about Drupal's Easy Out of the Box initiative. And I'm really excited about this talk. This is one of those initiatives that I wish I had time to work on, and I'm really excited to hear what's going on, and I'm hoping to learn some ways that maybe I can help get involved. And if you are curious about getting involved with Drupal core development, or you're curious on what's happening on that front, this is welcome, and this is a great chance to hear what's going on. So I'm gonna pass the baton over to Emily, make host, and I'll let her get started. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for having me talk about this. Okay, so I'm going to give an overview of Easy Out of the Box, and this initiative is it's an interesting one because we're just getting ramped up on the initiative as a whole, but work has been going on in Media, Layout Builder, and Claro for quite a while. So this is, if you start to join any of the channels and things, you'll see that everything coming together is kind of a new process, but the discussions and everything we're working on has been happening. So let me share. Okay. Probably this would be nice.
Are you looking for the present?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the top right. It says present. It's next.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's very useful.
Hiding it there. Yeah. Google Slides, whatever.
Okay, so Easy Out of the Box. This is trying to get all of these different important tools for content editors into the standard profiles. So we're trying to make the editorial experience clearer and more empowering from the moment Drupal's installed. And to do that, we're trying to get Layout Builder, Media, and Claro enabled by default in the standard Drupal installation. So this is the main issue for the initiative, and where you can find everything that I'm going to talk about in these slides. And if you're looking for the one place to refer back to find out what's going on, this is the issue that you can look at. Easy Out of the Box includes Layout Builder, and this is the issue for making it standard here. So the first thing that we're trying to get into Layout Builder to make it standard, we need visibility controls on blocks. So if you've added blocks in Layout Builder currently, you know that there's not an easy per block mechanism for configuring visibility. And we feel like that's important before it's able to be standard in Drupal core. So if you're interested in that topic, this would be a good place to get involved. And this one is a really big one that I think has quite a bit of interest, is the full site layout editing. So the main point of this issue is to determine if we need to do full site editing for the Easy Out of the Box initiative for it to be standard. But right now, we think that it would be ideal if we can use Layout Builder to edit everything across the site. So right now, Layout Builder only edits the main content region. You can only lay out blocks inside of that region, and this would allow you to control the layout in the sidebar, the header, the footer, everywhere around the site. So you could create different layouts on a whole site basis. And that kind of is intrinsically tied to the visibility conditions issue, so that you can make sure that things appear globally. And this is the issue to get involved in if you're interested in discussing more about that. So there are obviously more issues with Layout Builder, but those are the really big ones. And that's kind of, I'm going to do an overview of big issues in each of these. So media, this is the issue for getting media in standard. And some of the big things for media are adding explicit support for revisions in the media module, so you can have media in moderation. And then migrate integration. It's important to be able to migrate the media entity. So that's a really big issue for media and getting that in standard. Then for Claro, so this one is a two-step process. Claro first needs to become stable. Right now, Layout Builder and Media are both considered stable in core, but Claro is not. So the first issue there is to make Claro stable, and then the second issue is to get it into the standard profile. Right now, if you're interested in helping out, stable is the issue that you would want to check out there. Most of the work is going to go into getting it stable because there's not really much of a distinction yet for what stands between stable and standard. So one of the big things to work on in Claro is the toolbar style update. So there are a few things going on with changing the toolbar design and what our capabilities are for changing it in core while staying somewhat backwards compatible. And if you're interested in updating the toolbar, this is a good place to go. And then accessibility. These are really big ones that if you're new to contribution, these would be great places to jump in. A lot of this just deals with testing. So if you can open up the issue and then pull up Claro and test it with different accessibility tools, test it in different browsers. Really, there's an issue for Windows, high contrast mode testing. So there are numerous issues for accessibility. These are some of the biggest ones here, but that's a great place to get involved. And yeah, if you are interested in any of those things or any of those other things, like beyond what I've mentioned here, interested in helping with Layout Builder, Claro, or Media, there is a Drupal Slack channel now for the initiative. So that's the Easy Out of the Box channel. And we're just getting ramped up there. We've had meetings for media and layouts and Claro in the past, but now we're getting everyone together into this initiative meetings. So we have a meeting time on Mondays at 9 a.m. And if you hop into the Slack channel, you can talk to everyone there. And at DrupalCon, there's going to be an initiative day on Wednesday. So there will be content related to all of those three: Media, Layout Builder, and Claro. And then we'll have sprints on Wednesday for contribution. So if you'd like to get involved with the team, attending Wednesday DrupalCon is a good way to go too. And then I just figured I would open it up to any questions or what people are most interested in, because I know that kind of varies depending on.
I just wanted to clarify because I was typing out the issue numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like in the slides, the media moderation and the media migrate integration are the same ones in the slides. I think that media moderation is correct. And so I'm just trying to look up which one is the media migrate integration.
Okay.
One.
Looks
like there's a meta issue and another one, so I'm not sure which one it might be.
Okay, I can fix that real quick. I must have accidentally copied over it.
Copy pasta strikes again.
Okay. I'll just pull up that slide over again. So it should be that issue.
I muted myself. Did you all already start the Slack, like the meetings every Wednesday? Or are you starting that after DrupalCon? I think I missed that.
Oh,
Mondays, 9 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I think I was typing. Okay, so that's great. Mondays at 9. Cool. Awesome. So does anyone else have, what questions do you have? Like, this is a conglomeration of various different projects out there. So this is kind of an umbrella issue to do a number of different things. So, so yeah, there's lots of little facets to get involved with. Yeah. What, Emily, what would you say are some of the needs that the team has as far as like different roles that maybe need to be filled, like whether that's like technical leadership or, actually coding or project management or help with communication or whatever, like, are there some needs that you all have that you could talk more about?
Definitely. I think we could use really all areas. I think that we could use communication, getting the word out about this. I know a lot of Drupalists still don't necessarily even know what the Easy Out of the Box initiative is. So if anyone is interested in kind of marketing, if people are interested in project management, if we have work for designers in really all three of these initiatives, but especially I know in Layout Builder and Claro, we could really use more design work. And certainly we have needs for backend developers for all of these.
Cool. Are you the point of contact for that sort of thing, or are there other folks involved? Like, how would you prefer people to reach out if they want to help?
If you want to ping me, I'm happy to talk to anyone about how you can help. Amy June is also doing coordination for new contributors, so you can reach out to her too. And then reaching out in the Slack channel is also a great way to connect with everyone.
Awesome. Right on.
Emily, how does this relate to other initiatives? Like, is there a specific separate initiative to say get Olivero as
yes, Olivero is a separate initiative.
And is there anything that is sort of related with this initiative to that one? Or is there anything that where you would need where those groups need to work together?
I haven't seen anything so far where we've needed to be integrated, but I know we do have some people working on Claro and Olivero, working in both areas.
So Claro's the new admin theme, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So this is and then Olivero is the front end theme. That's in experimental status. Okay. I keep forgetting those names. Cool. Yeah. And the layout, I wanted to ask about the full site layout editing. Is that like the olden days panels everywhere sort of a thing?
It's kind of like panels everywhere in that sense.
Okay, cool.
And you were saying that there's still some debate about whether that's even desirable, right?
Yeah. And it's important to note that the issue title is discuss whether or not we want to do this. So that's still the point that we're at, is determining whether this is something that we absolutely need for standard, whether it's something that we want to provide, whether it should go in contrib, all of those things.
And is that something, would you be able to sort of summarize the pros and cons, or should I just read the issue to get a sense for why we should do it or shouldn't?
I think the biggest con that I've heard is that it's a difficult problem space, because we want to make sure that people can continue to manage their sites the way they currently do and expect, while being able to manage their whole site Chrome. So we wouldn't want to require people to set up a different layout for every page or anything like that. So you're going to need a global header area or footer area. So mostly it's around making sure that the user experience is understandable and that we don't make anything harder for site builders.
Right, and the additional complexity could hold up the entire out-of-the-box initiative,
right,
which I assume is a big consideration.
I think it's interesting that that Backdrop has something like that out of the box. I remember when Jen Lampton did a presentation here about kind of they demoed it, and I thought that it provided a nice they have a nice out of the box experience. And I think that's one aspect of their thing. So yeah, I should hop into that issue and chime in. I think I think there's some definite reasons, but I understand that it's hard. It's a hard problem, and yeah, that's cool. I'm just scanning through these issues here to see toolbar style update. Is that is that the admin menu?
Yeah.
Sort of a thing? Yeah, okay. I always forget what that's called.
And for that, there are some things that we've kind of wanted to change, but again, there's a lot about making sure that we have backwards compatibility and that, that everything works, even with the old themes.
It seems like the easiest one to be able to integrate is making media part of the standard installation, but maybe I'm wrong. What are the complications there, or what is? Again, I could probably just read the issue, but
yeah. So media is admittedly the one I know least about, because I've been most involved with Layout Builder and Claro. But I know that that we could use more people in the media team. So, so for anyone who's interested in that, definitely hop into the Slack channel.
Sure. I'll take a look. Thanks.
Sorry, I came in a little late. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering how much, and I missed the beginning, so if you already answered this, I do apologize, but how much out of the box? Earlier on, I was looking through some of the chats in the Portland Slack channel, and somebody was asking if people would be willing to share their best practices lists of all the things they did when they first built a site, which is all that kind of stuff like don't use this, the user zero, what permissions do you want to set up, that kind of stuff. Or is there an attempt to try and like make setting up the site easy, or is this just to make all the important modules and things be there?
Yeah, this is specifically around getting some of our editorial tools that are important really into the default installation. So it's just around Claro, Media, and Layout Builder.
Okay, thanks.
That is an interesting idea, though, Grant, to have kind of a best, like beginner best practice configuration, like here, even if it's just a checklist in a documentation page.
I do think, I know people have thrown around the idea of having more of a tour module kind of getting started guide combination that would help people. And I think that would be a great thing to get involved in for that.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Like write a tour that would walk people through like, okay, here we go. Like here's the things that you need to check out and all the pages. That's a really good idea. And tour module's already there. It's just a matter of writing a tour and either contributing it in the contrib space or proposing it to core. That's an interesting idea.
I always like the idea of having, when you're first installing, that you just get prompted with a bunch of the key stuff instead of like fuddling around through the menus until you find out where this page is, where you can put your site name and all that stuff, just as like a part of a process where when you're done, you have a whole bunch of the nitty-gritties that otherwise frustrate you out of the way already, just the small stuff. And it can include stuff like caching and whatnot, it's just like answer a bunch of basic questions, set up the site. But I don't know if that ship has sailed in terms of, how complex Drupal has become over the last few years, and the people that sort of tool would be aimed at, do they still exist? That's the question.
Yeah, I wonder if something like that could become overwhelming and actually slow you down in creating the site. Yeah, there's a fine line between being helpful and being intrusive.
It wouldn't be, the idea was never, some of us used to talk about this years ago, the idea would never be to force people. It would be quick installation, techie installation, hold your hand installation, you'd have these options. And then based on what you chose, you would get the help you wanted or didn't want.
Yeah, that might be where tours could work out, because you can dismiss it, or you can take the tour and get a sense of where to find these configuration options. So yeah, cool. Right on. Well, are there any other questions for Emily about easy out of the box? This was really helpful. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks everybody. And I'm excited to see everyone hop in to contribute, because that'll be great.
Yay. Yeah, I'm excited. This is really
It looks
cool.
like an amazing idea. I mean, I can see why we need that. So it's very cool.
Let's see. There's a question about if the slides might be posted.
I can share them in the PDX channel.
Yeah, that would be great. And I'll also copy the link over to the meetup and the the groups .drupal.org, or if you want to post a comment there, that's also fine. So whichever, one way or another, we'll get those shared around. And I tried to type out the issue numbers in the chat, so I've got that copy pasta as well. I can
Oh, thanks.
do that as well. So yeah, awesome. Thank you, Emily. If you want to hand the reins back over to me so that I can.
I think I have.
Oh, good. Okay.
Good. Okay, great.
I don't know if. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you. Very good. Are there any would anybody like to share anything that they're working on, or do you have a Drupal question that you would like to share with the group and maybe get some help on? This is kind of an open-ended time. We don't have to go on forever, but I just wanted to open it up. And if anyone has anything that they would like to discuss, this is a good time to speak up if you like, or if
Okay,
you've got
before we
an
get
issue
there,
that you're working on.
I'd like to compliment Emily on a really nice presentation. You're
Yes,
very clear.
We can clap. It's
Very
like,
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
yeah, it's weird not being in a traditional audience, right? The applause, but yes, thank you very much.
I have a quick question, just in general, Drupal Portland stuff. I've been really enjoying the virtual Drupal camps, and I'm wondering, does Portland or does Oregon Drupal do any camps like that?
That's a great question. So Portland has been a part of this consortium consisting of the Portland group, the Seattle group, and the Vancouver, BC group. And it's the Pacific Northwest Drupal Summit. And we rotate through traditionally we have rotated cities every year. And with COVID last year, the ball was in Seattle's court and it was postponed. So it's, I don't know if Rick is privy at all to what's going on in Seattle, if there's any discussion about possibly an online conference this year. I haven't heard a peep. So there is a link in the chat that Emily just dropped in. But Rick, do you know anything about what's going on with the summit?
Yeah, we talk about it just about every month at our Seattle Drupal user group meetings, and it's sort of postponed indefinitely. I mean, we've talked about maybe doing an online conference, but it seems like at first we were sort of getting a sense for what other conferences were doing, and now it seems like the ones that are doing it are sort of filling that niche already, and we were just trying to figure out if we should jump in or just wait until we can do it in person and then have a in-person event. So unfortunately, we're sort of, on hold for the time being. And just to add insult to injury, we had to originally postpone the Seattle Pacific Northwest Drupal Summit because DrupalCon was in Seattle that same year, and we didn't want to have it be like a month and a half before DrupalCon. So we postponed it that year, and then COVID hit, and then now we're going into the second year of COVID, and we're unsure whether 2021 is going to work out, and so we're kind of looking ahead a little bit to 2022, as odd as that sounds, and just thinking let's do an in-person event and make it like the previous ones.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's the feeling that I've been getting, just for what it's worth, that other camps are doing a great job of filling the online conference niche, and DrupalCon as well. And I don't see a really pressing need for the summit to jump into that space right now, since there's no geographic or cost for travel barrier. People can join in, and the main barrier is the time zone, so if you can make that work, you can join. So yeah, I think it sounds like the discussion is along the lines of what I've just been thinking in my own head. So thanks for the update, Rick. I really appreciate that, because I hadn't heard at all about what's been going on. So
Sure. We're sort of, I was sort of concerned that we were, holding up the conference. And so, is Portland or Vancouver, ready to, eager to, to host, and they want us to just get ours out of the way. But I didn't think that was the case, but never know.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I'm not like hankering to get a hold of any conference anytime soon. So I can only speak for myself, but no, I haven't, nobody's come to me either about the summit. So I'm happy just to like give the Seattle folks the space and just trust their judgment. It's in their court. It's, it's their original conference anyway. And, whatever you all decide, I support. So thank you for having the continuing discussion. And yeah, what a rough break though, like having the 2 postponements and having this drag on like this. So you have my sympathy, actually. So yeah, cool. Thanks for the update. Any other questions or anything about anything Drupal community related, drum related? I'm just kidding. So. Like
I have a module that I wrote, and I'm curious. I haven't posted it to Drupal.org, but I'm curious if others, if it would actually be useful to people. So any feedback, I guess, would be appreciated.
Do you want me to make you host so you can screen share, or
sure?
How would you like to do it? Okay.
Sure.
Oops. There we go.
So I just wrote this module last week, and it's a fairly simple one, but it addresses an issue that some people have with regard to images. I think it was Drupal 7.2, the idea of an image token was added in order to prevent denial of service attacks, just by causing a site to generate a lot of image styles and using up, lots of processing power. By the way, can you see my screen? I can't tell. Okay. So after that was introduced, an additional flag was added to be able to disable that. And so now it's part of Drupal 8, and there are two settings. One's called allow insecure derivatives, and one's called suppress italk output. And suppress italk output is preventing that token from getting added when an image that uses an image style gets requested. Allow insecure derivatives makes it so that token isn't necessary. And it's sort of an all or nothing thing. Like, if you were to change these to true, they would take effect on your site for every image style and every image that you required. And so I thought if there were a way to sort of have more fine-grained control over that, so that you could actually set it on an image style, set it on the image style itself, so that you didn't have to open up your entire site to allow insecure derivatives. And just that name itself sounds pretty scary. But if we take a look at, like, I've got this basic Drupal site where I've got this image, and it's using right here, it's using the large image style. And I have another image style called wide. So if I try to view that one, but you see here the italk parameter in the query string, if I remove that, Drupal's going to give me a page not found because the token's not there. So my module adds the ability to set that on an image style, on the image style. So if I come here to wide and I edit it, you can see I have an option here now to allow insecure derivatives of this image style.
So what are the trade-offs, like security wise? I'm still like wrapping my head around what this is doing and why you would want to allow that for a certain image style.
I think for some,
Like-
for oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering, like, I'm guessing that there's some mitigation this. Well, why don't I'll just let you answer the question because I'm still
sure.
wrapping my head around it.
So, like with some clients, I've found that they want to be able to reference images, and they know enough about image styles that they can sort of generate the URLs for them directly. They know what those URLs are going to look like, just like I sort of, hacked the URL here to try to get access to the wide image, but it's not going to work. So I think certain clients might need that sort of thing for images that they want to upload, and then they want to be able to refer to specific images outside of Drupal, or they want to reference the image styles generated by Drupal, but they're not using Drupal to do it. Being able to define a particular image style and then tell it to allow to not require the token could allow them to use that. For me, the use case was I was working with a third-party image hosting service, and they would if you requested an image that it didn't have, it would try to retrieve it from your Drupal site. But when they tried to retrieve it, they did it without the token. And I wanted to be able to allow them to be able to retrieve it without for the image style, without specifically needing to disable it for the entire site. Those are a couple of use cases that I've come across. Maybe others have seen something similar. So now that I've enabled insecure derivatives for this one image style, if I come back here to my page request for the wide version, hope this works. Now I actually get access to the wide version, the wide image style version of this, and not a page not found page. But it only applies to that one image style, so I'm not opening myself up to denial of service attacks as much. I guess I'm only making this one image style available. And I don't know what, if you host with, say Acquia or Pantheon or one of those, or any host that does that has a very sophisticated service and maybe mitigates some of the effects that you might, some of the vulnerabilities that you might have to denial of service. Maybe disabling it altogether isn't that big of an issue, but I think maybe on shared hosting or that sort of thing, being able to have more fine-grained control over which image styles you allow this to be available seems useful.
Cool. That's awesome.
So I'm thinking about, I think I may post it to Drupal.org. I'm a little reticent to add another module to the list of modules to maintain, but if other people could find it useful, it seems like it. I know there are at least some issues on Drupal.org for removing the image tokens altogether. I think there was some reference to negative effects it might have with regard to search engines or that sort of thing. I don't remember exactly, but I know that there are some proposals to completely modify that whole approach, but I haven't been following it closely enough to have a good sense for how far along that is.
Yeah, I guess since the original functionality, the token, is meant to prevent the DDoS attacks. If I guess, it seems like if you can get a security review or someone from, to take a look at it to make sure you're not missing something, because it seems like, you've definitely demonstrated how there's a use case for it, but like you wouldn't want to unwittingly open up client sites to attacks in that way. But I don't know, and another pair of eyes like with a security lens might be helpful there. But yeah, I think it's worth contributing back. So just from what you've shown us. So thank you.
Sure.
Cool. Well, I apologize for the drums in the background when I'm talking, but are there any other questions or show and tell or anything at all? We can wrap up if not, or announcements, related tech meetups that you might want to give a shout out to. I think our next meetup will probably be the Drupal lunch on the 4th Tuesday. And I think it didn't happen last week because of I think childcare issues or something like that. So so that it got missed, but we will try and line up a host for that. And let's see. Yeah, this will happen next month. When is DrupalCon? I should know this off the top of my head.
I think it's April 12th.
Oh, so maybe we won't have this because maybe it will be DrupalCon. Let me just look at my calendar here. Wow, that's coming right up.
Yeah, April 12th through the 16th.
Okay, so yeah, there won't be a meetup. There will not be a Portland meetup next month because, well, unless people who aren't attending want to host it. So it's likely not going to happen. I'll put it that way. So maybe it will happen, maybe not. I'm guessing not. Sign up for DrupalCon. At the registration, I'm pretty sure is open. And if you have been unable to attend in the past because of cost, you don't have travel expenses, you don't have hotel, the tickets are cheaper than they have been in the past. It's a really great opportunity to join, and you'll get kind of day of access to the talks, and yeah, it went pretty well, I thought, last year online, and I thought it went really well. I thought it was good from a speaker and attendee point of view. So
yeah, it made me want for us to have a DrupalCon Global every year so that we could always have an online conference.
Yeah, so I thought it was good, and they're probably cooking up improvements, I'm sure. So I think it's worth checking out. And yeah, so that's you can I don't have a link handy. What kind of hostess am I? I don't even have a link to this. If anyone has a link handy, thank you, Emily. And yeah, so groups.drupal.org/Portland is our meetup here, and we'll post links and slides and all that good stuff to the comments there. So thank you, everyone. Sorry for the drums. I'm not sorry. It just it is what it is. So online business life at home. So, okay. Thank you all. And we'll see you in the Slacks. And oh, was there another question? Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. And
Thank you.
appreciate you all being
Thank you
here.
for listening, Amber.